This is Benjamin Jones, sharing with Jeremy, Desra, Brian, and all my fellow game cats, my very first successful fishing trip, which I would never have been motivated to try if I hadn't played Catch and Release on the PlayStation VR. This is Viewer Takeover.
This is PSVR Gamescast Live, where we film live every Tuesday afternoon and bring it to YouTube live as PSVR Gamescast Live. But this is the pre-recorded part where we bring you Viewer Takeover, where we let you, the loyal game cats, let you take over the show every Wednesday is Viewer Takeover, where we let you, the loyal game cats, take over the show. It's like Groundhog Day, which is nice. Deja vu. As always, my name is Brian Paul, and to my right, your left, something wicked this way comes. It's Desra.
Hello. I'm super confused. So I'm here for the not live released one, but during the live released one, I was here on tape.
That's a siren on our end. So as confusing as things are, some things never change. So welcome back to the pre-recorded non-live show. We want to thank Benjamin Jones for that awesome catch and release introduction.
Yes. That little ding, that absolutely made it.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. The whole time, where is this going?
Seriously, I was like, I don't know. Oh, that's great. Okay, that's funny. Yes, you win.
Always my favorite part of Viewer Takeover is seeing what one of the game cats, loyal game cats, what they look like. If you want to introduce next week's Viewer Takeover, make sure you send your short, sweet, seductive, sexy, scaly introduction.
Hey, who says scaly isn't sexy?
Without Parole at gmail.com. I love seeing what the game cats look like. We see these names all the time, and then we see their faces. We see their faces. We see their what? Where was I going with that? What are we looking at?
I
have no idea.
We see their fishes. So
along with Brendan Jones, we also want to thank these people. These people down here. Yep. These are our loyal Patreon supporters who went to patreon.com/Without Parole Games. There we go. And they're giving us $1 or more every single month. I want to remind you.
Yes.
This is so crucial. So crucial that we live and die on Patreon support.
Literally.
And I will tell you, we're living and dying on a very small amount of money. So please, if you enjoy this channel, if you like what you see, please consider going over there and hitting us up. Literally, all we ask is for $1. And if you want to give us more than that, then we are even more appreciative.
Yeah, the whole Patreon idea is like my favorite thing about the modern internet, because we could do ads. We could try to
we do ads.
Yeah. Well, I mean like in-show ads,
like Lisa mattresses.
Right.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. Or Casper or something like that.
Yeah.
Or, and we could
Blue
try
Apron.
and rely, crank every last penny we can out of YouTube ads. But
we're so doing that. Yeah. we're totally gonna do that soon.
A 50-minute pre-roll, is that really necessary?
That can't be right.
No.
Yeah.
But my point is, with Patreon, we know 100% is the people who care the most who are supporting us directly. And I think that, more than the amount or anything, the fact that you're out there and saying, you know what, we really like what you guys are doing, and we want to support you directly. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. And later in this episode, we're going to talk about just how much work goes into this channel. And so if you're on the fence, stay tuned, because soon you'll find out just where your $1 a month is going.
Yeah.
So thank you to all the Patreon supporters, but we also want to thank the people who followed Beauty in the Decay's lead and changed their name to something the Game Cat, or something Game Cat related or Game Cat adjacent. This week is very few people.
Well, but they're important.
Very important. In fact, when there's few people, I feel like it's even more special.
Yes,
because you get the whole
the
segment
attention
to yourself.
Yeah.
So who changed your name to Game Cat this week, Desra?
This week we have Wink Rogers, Game Cat.
I like it. Wink Rogers. Bing. And this one. How are you gonna pronounce this?
I'm gonna just do it exactly as it's written.
Oh God.
I'm a #GameCat2! ! 111 11D11.
Hotcakes. Yeah, making life difficult. You read that better than I would have. So thank you very much.
Which is ironic considering our track history with scripts.
Pretty bad. If you don't know by now, if you don't know now, you know. GameCats are the loyal following of Without Parole, and if you change your name to GameCat, make sure that somewhere in the comments you write #GameCat. That way we can give you a shout out on next week's show. But what we do here on Viewer Takeover is we actually search for the #Viewer Takeover in the comments, all one word, please, and then we read your questions, we read your comments, and try to answer them to the best of our ability on the show.
Right.
So let's get started.
Sure.
All right. You want? I don't know.
Yeah, you probably do this one. Yeah.
First up, it comes from Trump Plays PSVR from the Intruders Hide and Seek First Impression video. He writes, "Still no Mage's Tale review? I've got money waiting on your review, Big B." Now,
does that mean he's betting money on whether or not you have a review?
I don't think so. He might because this comment taken out of context seems like a very positive, like, dude, I can't wait to hear what you think about Mage's Tale.
Yeah.
But taken in context, this is the 7th comment that Trump Plays PSVR has left, asking about the Mage's Tale review. I understood it at the beginning, saying, "Hey, where is it?" And now every time I publish a review, a comment comes up and says, "Really? Still no review?" And it's like getting to like the maybe he's irritated at me for not publishing a review yet. So we wanted to talk about that a little bit and let you guys know a few things that happen behind the scenes.
Yes.
And why reviews take so long sometimes. I mean, your Rage Room review should not have taken as long as it did.
No, that's true.
Right? You actually gave me voiceover like a week before the review actually went up.
Yep. But we found out and this is why we're doing this experimentation with Studio B, there is some massive source of interference in Studio B that there wasn't the floor above on my kitchen table. Okay. So I'm still in the process of figuring that out. But what ended up happening was I spent, probably an hour or two recording and re-recording, taking different cuts, messing with the board and trying all that. And then I sent something like, "Hey, this is the best I can make it, Brian."
And it sounded awful.
And it wasn't good enough.
Yeah. We always care. I would always rather have something show up late on the channel, whether it be a week late, or 2 weeks late, or a month late, and have it be of the quality that that hopefully you've come to expect from the channel. The problem, there are so many things that influence the Mage's Tale review.
Yeah.
And I think the first thing everybody needs to know is that when a game like Chromagun VR comes out and we have a review day and date, I had to review up a couple hours before the game came out.
Right.
The reason for that is because developers sent us a review key literally a week ahead of time.
Yep.
Gave me plenty of time to play it, plenty of time to script a review, plenty of time to capture footage, plenty of time to record voiceovers, plenty of time to edit it all together. And I will tell you, for even a 4-hour game like Chromagun, that review took at least 10 hours to do.
Yeah.
That is a 10-hour review. Now, when we're talking about something like when you sent me, you played Rage Room.
Yes.
And you did the hard work of playing the game, and boy, was that hard work. Yeah. It still took me 6 hours to do that review after you sent me your script, because that's just how long some of these things take. You have to go in and capture footage, and you have to like edit it all together, and you have to make sure you found the right thing, and it's.
I have to do that. I did really appreciate the actually layering the pictures of the baseball bat and the pool noodles. I saw that. I was like, all right, awesome.
It was my favorite line in the review. Yeah. I had to, and so basically. And then on top of so the Mage's Tale.
It's very Yahtzee. I'm just realizing now.
Yahtzee.
The
Yeah, I know the dice game, right?
No. The reviewer. Oh gosh.
What?
From The Escapist.
He
does. Okay. Anyways.
Yeah. I mean, I know who The Escapist is. I just don't know.
Okay. Anyways.
Okay. I'm sure other people totally care.
Yeah.
So like Pixel Maniacs, who sent me Chromagun a week early, they understand.
Yeah.
They're like, well, we want reviews, we want all this stuff ready for the day our game comes out.
Right.
The Mage's Tale developers in Exile, they sent me a review key 3 hours after the game came out. And that game is much longer than 4 hours, much longer than Chromagun. Yep. It's like 8 to 10 hours. Now, just to top it all off, this is like the perfect shitstorm is what we're about to talk about. So not only can I not play that game ahead of time, but also I got sick that week. I had like this weird stomach bug.
Oh, right. That was that week, yeah.
This was really strange. And just to top it all off, we also had Zing codes that week.
Yes.
So I had to play Zing and Mage's Tale. And every time I dropped into VR, I got motion sick.
Yeah.
Like it didn't matter if click turning was on, didn't matter what was going on. For the first time in 2.5 years, I was getting motion sick because I had a stomach bug. So now we're even further delayed. Right. So the game's been out for days and I can't play it now. Right? So like it's just getting worse and worse by the moment. Fast forward a little bit, like and of course anytime I have games that aren't out yet, those take priority, because if I can have a review ready for the release date, those are going to take priority. Mage's Tale is already late. So so in my head, in my priority list, it's just going to be later. And it's like, oh no, it's just going to be a little later. You know, if I can't have it out for day one, it's just going to be ready when it's ready. Yeah. So on top of all of this, then the following week, Valentine's Day. So the one day I had free, I actually spent with somebody. And you guys got to remember this. I don't have a personal life. I literally spend, and I was trying to explain this to Jeremy earlier. Yeah. I sleep for 3-hour increments, because with the amount of shows that we have scheduled, like just the amount of shows that are scheduled every week, like never mind Let's Plays, never mind reviews, never mind breaking news reports, just the 5 scheduled shows that I participate in. I'm not counting Amanda's show, and I'm not counting Jeremy's live stream. The 5 scheduled shows. What are those? The interview, PSVR this week, Why We Love PSVR, Gamescast Live, and then this. Just those alone are a 40-hour work week. Yeah. Never mind adding reviews to the mix, never mind doing Let's Plays, never mind doing breaking news reports. We are talking literally upwards of 70 hours a week I spend. And so I don't even have time to sleep for 8 hours at a time. I sleep for 3 hours. I get up and go, what has to be done right now? I do it. And then 8 hours later, 10 hours later, I go, I have time. I can sleep for 3 more hours before this next project has to be started.
I mean, a good rule of thumb for video editing, and pretty much everyone will tell you this, an hour of work for a minute of footage. At least. Just editing. That's not creating the content. That's just the editing part. Yeah. So
luckily it's not quite that bad, because if it was, oh my God, we'd never get, we'd be so screwed. Yeah. But it is really bad. And I feel like maybe I've painted myself into a corner with this channel, because we have 5 shows that people are expecting. And so then when reviews are late and people get upset that there's no Mage's Tale review, well, you have to understand I'm already working 70 hours a week on everything else that you see. So I just really want you guys to understand that we're also human beings. I've given up my personal life for this channel. I just don't like. I've gotten comments to the effect where it's kind of dance monkey dance. We watch your channel, so you do what we say, and I don't like that mentality. Where I'm in my head, I'm not a YouTuber. I'm a video game reviewer. Right? I love to talk about video games. We like to. That's what we do. Right? I don't know what other YouTubers do, and I don't play by those rules. So dance monkey dance. I'm not signing up for that. And if that's your mentality, you can probably leave.
The thing is, we try to get to as many reviews as we can. And the one review you're waiting for may be one of the ones that kind of slips to the side. It's nothing personal. Yep. It's just like you said, we have internal priorities of which games we feel we need to get out first, and we go for that. It's not personal. It's not like, oh, we're never going to do this game because, screw that particular user. It's just like, no, there's other priorities. And it's not possible for anyone to review every game that comes out for any console.
But Jesus, we're totally trying.
Right. I mean,
it's really trying.
I mean, if you look at our hit rate, it's pretty damn good. Yeah. But yeah, so unfortunately, the one game you're looking for, maybe that slipped through the cracks. Doesn't mean it's never going to come. But
and it's totally coming. I think Mage's Tale is an important game for PlayStation VR.
Oh sure. Sure.
And I really want to review it. And anyone who's actually on the up and up about this and goes, no, I really do care, and I really do want to know about your review before I go and buy this game. Trump Plays PSVR has already found other reviews, and he's been very, very vocal about, hey, I found other reviews on other channels. And other people have already bought it, and they're still asking me where my review is. So I'm curious to know where some of these comments are coming from.
What do you want the review for then?
Exactly. But the point is this review slipped through the cracks. We're getting to it. Ace Combat 7 slipped through the cracks. we're getting to it. But for the same reason, Bandai Namco hates us.
Yeah.
They literally hate us, and like have claimed copyright claims on every single video we've ever shown a trailer of Ace Combat 7 in, and refuse to even respond to my phone calls, refuse to respond to my emails about getting a review key. So guess what? We didn't have that game early either, and so that slipped through the cracks as well. Also, I think a very important game for PlayStation VR.
Sure.
So I just want everyone to be absolutely clear. We want to review these games. But time is limited, and we have to make concessions.
Yep.
Eventually, those reviews will come. That was the longest answer on any viewer takeover for any question ever. So no offense to anybody who's been asking.
I'll push the button is what happened.
That's kind of what happened. No offense to anyone who's been asking for the review. I take it as a sign of pride in my work that people care that much about watching our channel.
This is true.
So thank you very much for looking forward to our content. All right, you're up, Asia.
All right, we got Justin Turgeson. Sure. From Viewer Takeover. Hashtag Viewer Takeover.
He knows what's up.
Do you have any advice about scratch removal or lens maintenance? I'm obsessive about preserving my lenses and cleaning them thoroughly to make my VR experience as pure as possible. I've noticed very light scratches on the lenses, and I'm concerned that it may get unmanageable.
I don't wear glasses.
Yeah.
So I don't get scratches, and I don't know where scratches would come from.
Well, with any glass, I mean, scratches can come from the most random thing. I mean, you can actually get scratches from cloth. So first off, right off the bat, do not clean your lenses with anything other than a microfiber cloth. Now, there's one that's included if you buy your PSVR, a nice big honking one. But they get dirty over time, and if you use them, if you don't wash them, they will pick up dirt and lint, and then all you're doing is taking the dirt and lint that's on that lens cloth and sanding away at your lens.
There are super cheap packages of microfiber cloths on Amazon. I think I got a pack of like 10 for like less than $10.
And that's what I was going to say. Don't even bother washing it.
Right.
Just get new ones. They are cheap enough. They are easy enough. If you don't want to go on Amazon, go to your local Target or Walmart that has an optometry thing and say, "Hey, can I have a lens cleaning cloth?" And they'll say, "Yes, here you go."
Now I've heard people talking about lens pens.
Yes,
That gets in the corners.
Yeah, a lens pen is basically a very thin bristled brush, which you can use to kind of brush around. It's made out of material that won't scratch the glass.
Okay.
So that's something else you can do. There are products and chemicals and all sorts of things out there that are scratch repair. Some of them work very, very well. Some of them are hot garbage that will ruin the lens you're doing forever. So I'm not going to give you any specific recommendations.
Yeah, we don't want to be responsible for that.
Yeah, if you go to, they do still exist, camera shops. Like
they do exist.
Yes, if you have like a Ritz camera near you or something like that, go talk to them. Bring in the headset and say, "This is the kind of glass we need to clean," and they'll be able to take care of you there. They are experts. We are not. So yes, you're right. It can very easily get scratched or damaged. So basic things, just if they have that nice soft case, that I've got one of like the official PlayStation soft case.
Yeah.
When you're done, put it in the case. You know, make sure do not. You're gonna think, "Hey, there's just a little smudge here. I'm just gonna grab a tissue." No. Tissues are like sandpaper. Use a microfiber cloth. End of story. After you've used it for a while, get rid of it, buy a new one, or get some new ones. Yeah, those are the two biggest things you can do.
Yeah, I honestly I use my PSVR headset every single day for hours at a time, and very frequently I put that thing on and I can see the lenses are dirty because my eyelashes are brushing against them, or just sweat or whatever. The whole thing. I'm a very gross human being. And
human beings are just gross
in general. Yeah. I'm the worst offender though. I think I showered today, which was nice.
Hey,
yeah, you're welcome. I grabbed the microfiber cloth and I go and I don't obsess over little scratches and stuff. Like if they're tiny little things that you don't notice when you're playing a game, because you won't. And unless they're like deep gouges, I highly doubt that you're going to notice anything when you're in the midst of a game.
I also, if you really want to get super pedantic about this, and it sounds like you're the kind of person who does, don't just grab the cloth and go around in a circle like that, because what that'll do is if there is something on the lens or on the cloth, it's just going to grind it away. Start in the middle of the lens and work your way out like that.
Yeah?
Yep.
Oh, we're getting real pedantic.
Well, yeah, because it's the little stuff on the inside of the lens. That's where all like dirt and all is going to capture. So if you scoop that out, and now you're just rubbing it around like that.
Gotcha.
If you start at the lens, the center, that's going to be the cleanest part. Now you're dragging from the cleanest to the dirty, clean to the dirty, like that. Okay, but that's
But we got real.
We got real deep there.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, next up comes from Sci-Fi Game Cat Henry. He writes hashtag viewer takeover. It's howdy. I thought I was going to say gentlemen. Howdy Game Cats, even better. I realize that with the Gamecast takeover, first impressions, reviews, and interviews, that leaves very little time for you. But why not a Discord channel? Why not a Discord channel? I love that he answered his own question.
Yeah.
Thanks for everything, and we love you all. Thank you so much, Henry. That is absolutely the answer.
Yes, and also see the first question today.
Also that, but really, like we've pushed ourselves way past the limits of like what anybody should be doing on a weekly basis, as far as the workload's concerned. Absolutely painted myself into a corner here, and I can't seem to get out of it. What we want to do is up the Patreon support, and so I can actually finally start paying Des for all of his hard work. Well, it's important to me because that way, like, you could actually work one full day,
right?
You get paid for it, and that would be one full day I get back from my life, and then maybe start sleeping again.
That's not what you would do, though.
No, I'd probably just review more games.
Right, exactly.
I'd get Mage's Tail done.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, Discord is great, and it's nothing against Discord, but it's one of those, like, we have the community, we've got Twitter and things like that. If we did a Discord, it would be like, well, we don't have the time to run it, and we don't want to put it off onto some moderators, because if it had our name on it, we want it to be moderated, because there's a certain kind of level of content we want. Hey, we like making our jokes and all that, but we do want it to be a very positive and welcoming place, and we need moderators to make sure that happens. And we don't want to shovel off what should be our work onto somebody else. Oh,
but we're going to.
Well, yeah,
absolutely. We already ask so much of our moderators. These guys stop in for every single live stream, and we appreciate them. There are people who I'm sure would like to be moderators, which is fine. But I think that comes with time. That comes with eventually. You don't. We've seen people get into trouble by just assigning moderators to their channel.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, they weren't people they could trust.
Right.
So we want to make sure that we establish relationships with all the people that work for us, work with us. And honestly, in the 4 years I've been doing this channel, I know 4 years. This is only the fourth time someone has said, "Hey, how about a Discord channel?"
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say there's probably not a huge demand for it. Maybe it's our demographic, maybe it's our age group, but honestly, we are very, very readily available in so many ways. You can email us, you can DM us, you can in the comments of our videos, in the community. We are very readily available at all times. I have way too many Facebook friends, and I respond to all of their messages. I'm on Snapchat. I mean, literally, you can find me everywhere, and I will respond to you personally. I don't know if Discord is something we really need to do right now.
Yeah, and then for me specifically, Facebook is my personal thing, so I don't really accept any friends on Facebook. But on Twitter, if you follow me, unless you're clearly spammy and just PR machine, I will almost certainly follow you back, and then we can DM away or whatever you'd like. So
I don't follow anyone back.
Oh, really?
Should I be doing that?
I follow most people. I follow back. Every once in a while, I get someone will follow me and oh, you don't actually care about interacting with me as a person. You just saw that I was a PSVR person, and you just want to use me to kind of
gotcha.
regurgitate. But if you're a normal human being, then awesome. And if you're an abnormal human being, even better.
Even better, yeah.
Yeah,
for real. All right, let's do this.
Okay, from Paul Horton, the Game Cat, on the White Lotus interview.
That was a good one.
Yeah, it was a really good one.
They were so nice.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't believe I didn't ask her about her ears. That just proves I have a long way to go. A lot to learn about being an interviewer. No. She pops up.
Yeah.
And the first thing I go is, what's going on with those ears? That's what goes through my head.
Yeah.
What's going on with those ears? But I never say it out loud because I'm like, well, what if they're real?
I just see, personally, I'm thinking like not addressing the ears is a choice.
Yeah.
And I just love that committing to like, no, we're not gonna. That's just normal.
I wish that was the case. Yeah.
So hashtag viewer takeover. Mm-hmm. This interview clearly shows that programmers with talent can really get the best from PSVR. Yes. It annoys me that larger dev teams criticize the PS4 hardware for not allowing them to deliver graphically stunning games like Zing. A team of 3 produced Zing? Just incredible. Hey, just incredible. Do you know of any other small developers that have delivered high quality, whether that be graphics or gameplay, that the PSVR community should be aware of?
So to the top.
Well, yeah, and I
know
think
that's where you were going.
Yeah, it is. But again, like he gets graphical quality by getting rid of graphical fidelity, right. If that makes sense. He has a game that runs smooth and looks great because they got rid of the really highly detailed and textured surfaces, and that that's a small team too.
Like 2 people.
Yeah. So yeah, for teams that criticize the hardware for not allowing them to deliver graphically stunning games, well, work harder because clearly some people can do it. So it's not like these 3 students. Okay, not like professional development. These 3 students had some secret inroads into Sony that got them access to hardware that you don't have access to. Yeah. They had the same tools you did, and probably even less by the sound of it.
Exactly. But unlike I'm sure a lot of developers, they were students, and so they had kind of unlimited time.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sure that they wanted to get their game out, mm-hmm. But they took the time that was required, and man, it absolutely shows. The problem is that he's asking if there's any other small developers that we should be aware of that delivered either high quality graphics or high quality gameplay. And the problem is that we're not totally sure how big a lot of the teams are.
Right.
Like I could point to Here They Lie, which I absolutely love. I know it's a very divisive game, but man, I absolutely the world of Here They Lie, that monochromatic world, and just like in the scares and it's a walking simulator for sure. But man, it's a good one. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many people at 10 Gentlemen made that game. It could be a team of 5 people. It could be a team of 30 people. I have no idea.
Right.
And it's even something as big as like Moss by Polyarc.
Yeah. How
many people work at Polyarc? Like we don't really know this. Some games come across as a big budget title, and some games don't. And we don't until we sit down and we talk to the developers or we get in touch with them personally.
Yeah. Very
frequently we don't know the answer behind that. So I don't really have a good answer to his question other than just watch our reviews and buy what. My answer to his question is don't worry. Right?
Yeah.
If it looks like a game you enjoy, buy it. And support the developers who are making the things that you love.
And I just I felt this way before VR, but VR has reinforced my feelings even more. Don't let the graphics be your mark of quality in a game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something to consider, yes, and there's something to be said for like, oh my gosh, this game is visually stunning. Horizon Zero Dawn was my example for that. It's like, oh, this is just, above and beyond. This is a piece of visual art. But for me, that's like, it's almost by every game I play, that is dropping lower and lower in my priorities. And like, why do I like this game?
Yeah.
So,
and as that drops lower and lower, I feel like the next generation of PlayStation VR games, that level especially for indie developers, I'm looking at like Falcon Age by Outer Loop Games.
Yep.
I think that's like 8 people. Right, so there you go. That one looks amazing. And then Shadow Legend by Vitruvius, our favorite people who made Mervils. Shadow Legend is looking pretty damn good for a very, very small team. So keep your eye on those because those are coming up and they look awesome.
I can't remember his name now, but I follow someone, one of the developers on Falcon Age and on Twitter, and just like every other day he's sharing these amazing bugs. And like, just the Falcon sitting on his wrist and everything's fine. All of a sudden, it just like expands like 5 times its size and drops back in.
Yeah, we'll be talking to him soon.
Yeah. So that's Okay.
All right. And then finally, Chris Bryant wrote on the Amanda versus Don't Knock Twice
Amanda.
video. Woohoo! Here it's hashtag viewer takeover. We love Amanda. I will leave a link below and would love to hear your thoughts.
All right. Thank you. End the show. Bye.
Well, you'll have to hear our thoughts. The link he gave us was the rumors about the Nintendo VR or the Switch VR.
Yes.
Because I think many of us prefer Sony's VR offering because of the ease of use when comparing consoles to PC. PSVR also works with an existing platform many already had, the PS4. Considering the Switch has sold over 30 million units? Is that real? I didn't realize that. If Nintendo does something like this, it could serve as a gateway to get new people interested in the medium. It might not be great, but it'd be better than the Virtual Boy. Also, meow. Meow.
Yeah, I mean, there was some other company that had like a VR Switch thing. I can't remember what it was, but basically, and the rumors I'm hearing is this is going to be like a Labo add-on.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, all you're really going to have is it's a Google Cardboard experience.
That's the problem,
That's
right?
really all they're going to have.
Switch is definitely underpowered when it comes to, when you compare something like the PlayStation 4 that gets the Dark Souls remastered and it runs at 60 frames a second, 1080p or whatever, and then the Switch version comes out and it runs at 30 frames a second, and you're like, well, that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
Right. Well, why are we even getting a remastered version that can't run at 60 FPS? Right. There's a lot of answers to that. I don't want to bring that up. But the point is that is a demonstration of the power of the Switch. It's not exactly a console or a handheld that you want to be adding VR to. That said, Nintendo does have games that are very cartoony, that are very simplistic looking, and that could actually get away with some low polygon counts. And get their games running at 60 FPS or 120, whatever you have to do for virtual reality. Yeah. And I think they could get away with it because of the style of a lot of their games.
Yeah, but I also I'm hesitant to see how much they're going to dive into VR with the Switch because of its limitations there. Because we know those limitations, once that frame rate starts dropping, that's when your motion sickness really, really kicks in. And people who have iron stomachs is like, oh, I can handle any game at all. That frame rate starts dropping, and it is game over. And knowing Nintendo and knowing how much they want to make sure, the Virtual Boy didn't die because it didn't sell well. The Virtual Boy died because Nintendo was like, oh, this is, not... People are complaining about headaches and all that. And, they could have kept it on the market. Okay, yes, it died because it didn't sell well.
It also didn't sell well, yeah.
Right. But they took it off the market because it was hurting their reputation. Yeah. Okay? It wasn't just that they could have kept it on the market and was like, hey, we made this many. Let's just keep selling them till we get rid of all the stock and move on. But no, they're like, no, this is going to go away now because it is hurting us. And today, it is still a punchline. And you better believe when they talk about virtual reality, when they're sitting there in the Nintendo boardroom talking about what are our plans, the ghost of Virtual Boy hangs over every conversation.
Maybe, yeah.
No, it's gonna, because
they want to make sure when they do it again, they do it right.
Right.
Yeah.
So if something does come with where you drop the Switch into something, it's gonna be very simple. Yeah. It's not going to, you're not going to get the PSVR quality in a Switch. It's just not going to happen.
Well, and on top of it all, people, who were we just talking to recently? When we were talking to White Lotus, those developers were basically telling us, as it turns out, a lot of people who have PlayStation VR also have a PlayStation 4 Pro.
Yeah.
Right. They're like, oh, this VR thing is great. I want to get the most out of it. So they bought the super powerful version of the PlayStation 4.
Right.
However, the Switch isn't even as powerful as the OG PS4.
Right.
So keep that in mind.
I think it might be a fun Labo toy kind of thing, just like the piano, where you build your cardboard thing, you play with it a couple times, like, oh, isn't that fun? And then it ends up in the closet.
Right. Anyway, what we're saying is, don't get your hopes up. Yeah. I hope that Nintendo does jump into VR, but I'm guessing that if they do take it seriously, it won't be till next generation.
Yeah, and that's I think the point I was trying to make, that you made way better than I did.
Yeah, whatever. All right, that is the longest viewer takeover of all time. Every viewer takeover is the longest viewer takeover of all time. Yeah, they're just getting longer and bigger and fatter by the moment. Kind of like me when I play video games and eat
kind of like Leon. Leon's getting larger. No,
I don't know anything.
Airplane.
I know Airplane. Yep. I haven't watched Airplane in literally 30 years.
And Johnny runs in, and Leon's getting larger, and he shakes the big fat guy. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Viewer Takeover. I'm Brian Paul, and that's Desra, and we will be...
He's tired.
Oh, I'm tired, you're tired. We're all tired, man. It's been a long day, and now I got to stay up and edit this thing. We love you all. Have an awesome day.
Bye. Good night.
It was Airplane, and there was Airplane 2.
Yep.
Liam Neeson? What's the actor's name? Not Liam Neeson.
No.
I know, but it's an L and an N. It's some
Leslie
Nielsen.
Yeah.
Oh, see, this is why I'm awful with actors and actresses.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no follow up to that. I'm just awful with actors and actresses. I'm like that guy, L and N.
Yeah. Well,
Liam Neeson.
Well, you were so close that it got me thrown off. Like, Ellen, what? Oh,
Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah.